This podcast is scheduled for one fall.
Whoa, who let you out of the basement? Let me do this. This podcast is scheduled for one fall, and I'm still not reading any of this other crap you wrote, so just click your buttons and start the show.
Welcome everybody to the Gimmick Table. Happy to have you here with us today. And that heavy breathing you hear in the background is none other than my darling co-host. He is the Jamal to my Silas. He is Bats. How goes it today, Bats?
Popcorn, player, pimp.
No one says that now, Netta, like you say that now, Netta. And guys, in just a moment, we're going to be sitting down with the half-baked kid, Kris Chambers, to discuss his time in professional wrestling, as well as the Toronto-based promotion, Superkick'd, and maybe we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a cannabis athlete. But before we get into that, make sure you subscribe on iTunes to help expand our reach and get our guest out there and into more people's ears.
Expand our reach and expand your minds.
That's what we're all about here on the Gimmick Table, expanding things.
Like my waistline.
Yeah, ever since we've started, like, can we just take a time out? Just since I want to have an intervention, since we've started this podcast, we're about 6 months into it. You've really let yourself go. We're not celebrities.
I'm eating meat for the both of us because
Is
you're
that
vegan.
what is that what you're doing
I'm
now?
just
You're just
eating it.
double steak. You have to make up for all the animals I'm not killing now.
Yeah, like every time I want to eat a double cheeseburger, I'm like, oh, well, Matt's not eating one, so I have to eat a quad cheeseburger.
So really, when you die of a heart attack, it's my fault.
Yep, just because you were vegan. Vegans kill. There you go. You heard it here first.
First here on the Gimmick Table, and we are not sorry for it. I'm sorry. More importantly, though, we want to take this chance also to thank Excite Wrestling again for letting us to be a part of their Twitch stream. Awesome experience, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out, go to twitch.tv/Excite Wrestling. It was an awesome show. There was even a marriage proposal with Joey Ryan and Dick Justice to assist them. It's a great time. Good wrestling.
It'll bring a tear to your eye.
It was a great time. So glad we got to be a part of it. Thank you once again. All right, Bats, it's time. Without further wait, let's get to today's show. Everybody, please join us in welcoming to the Gimmick Table, Kris Chambers. How goes it today?
Going well. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. So glad we could finally get you on the show. But we definitely wanted to have this interview. And you happen to be making history today because, as far as we know, you are the first ever cannabis athlete to join us on the Gimmick Table.
That's pretty damn awesome. We know I'm not the only cannabis athlete out there, though, right?
I assume that there were more of you out there.
They are. They just thought they don't have the guts to say it.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of them in hiding, for sure.
Now, for all of those people out there, those squares, can you kind of elaborate for us what is a cannabis athlete?
Well, I mean, to me, a cannabis athlete is somebody that uses cannabis in many different ways. It's different between each individual, right? I use it for recovery, and it's definitely helped me a lot in terms of wrestling, staying away from probably things that everybody is trying to stay away from, right?
Right.
And so for myself, it's a recovery process thing. I mean, if I'm lifting weights and I'm by myself, I mean, I might as well do it at that time. But other than that, it's just a recovery thing. I mean, I don't step in the ring and I don't get in there with someone else's life in my hands and get pretty tuned up, right? It's a recovery thing.
Right. So instead of going, to what is considered the norm in most cultures, the painkillers, the prescription medicines, you're using something that the side effects are far, far less damaging to the body.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I don't think there is any side effects besides feeling awesome. Right? I mean, the other stuff, everything out there is like the painkillers and all that stuff. That's definitely, we all know that there's definitely side effects to that long-term use and even short-term use. With cannabis, I mean, it's been, a long time for me, and my cardio is not any different. I feel great. I'm definitely functional. And when the times that I did take a little bit of a break, I mean, that's when my body felt more banged up than it ever did. So, I mean, I have a lot of matches and a lot of beatings and a lot of wear and tear on my body. And if this is the one thing that grows on this green earth and I can use it and it benefits me and it doesn't harm me, I mean, I don't see the problem in that.
You're absolutely right. And not just from a recovery aspect. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that don't know, like with seizures, there's children who actually have seizures and have been prescribed medical marijuana, and they have not had seizures since.
Yeah, it's CBD.
Yes.
So that's the one. Yeah, that's the one cannabinoid that doesn't get you the psychoactive high that people are, common referring to all the time. And it doesn't affect you that way, but it does change the body, relaxes the body, it calms the body, and yeah, I mean, research every single day is saying something more beneficial from it all the time.
Right. I just want to clarify for Matt there. It's not telling the kids to smoke weed. It's
right.
It's oil, but yeah,
It's oil. It's definitely oil. We do not condone any children consuming cannabis.
Right.
No. Legal age. Make your decisions when you're grown up.
Right, exactly. And yeah, poor wording on my part. I apologize, but I was not telling children to go out and smoke weed. These were decisions that the parents made to give their children the medical form, the oil.
Oh, and there's a lot of medical backing to like this. There's a ton of research. I mean, there's a lot of research from back in the day, but all that apparently was biased, and it's all based on one guy who kind of was being paid by Big Pharma to tell everybody that weed was really bad for you. No medical value.
Yeah, it's crazy. It blows my mind that, there's some human being will say it's horrible for you and everyone jumps at that, and it's just people saying stuff half the time.
Oh, yeah, then you had things like, you had reefer madness back in the 50s that basically, if you smoked pot, you would die, which I'm pretty sure.
Like you would go jump off a 30-story building because you thought you could fly.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and the last thing that you would do is get off the couch when you're pretty stoned, right?
That's the first thing you want to do is go up 30 flights of stairs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly what you want to do.
That's way too much work.
Well, I think that the generation before us is, they were manipulated a little bit. Like I remember the first time my mom found out that I smoked pot. And, I don't actually smoke pot. I vaporize it. That's the choice I made is vaporizing. And when she found out, she bawled her eyes out. And I thought it was the wildest thing in my life. And I was like, she obviously has no idea what she's talking about. So I had to educate her. And I did. And everything was pretty cool after that. She looked at it and she's like, yeah, it's pretty ridiculous how it was portrayed for so long. And, I mean, it's cool that it's changing now. Like, where I'm from, Toronto, Canada, it's pretty much legal. They got dispensaries everywhere in July. They're going to legalize it. Everything's going to be good to go. The movement's changing.
Yeah, we unfortunately here in New York, with everything, we are always a little bit behind the time. We just got medical marijuana passed in small amounts, I believe, for certain ailments and things like that. But
yeah, and it's not even like the really good prescription stuff. It's it's just weed to smoke. It's not really, and edibles, mostly edibles, which is I guess the best way to consume it if you're not going to get like CBD oil.
Oh, definitely. That would definitely take you to where you want to go.
And it's funny that you actually said that about your mom, because I remember growing up, very reverse. My dad was a very big proponent of the cannabis himself, and the first joint I ever smoked, actually, my mom rolled it for me because I was asking her about it. And
that's pretty awesome.
It was a really weird experience for me the very first time. I remember that, and all I wanted to do was eat cookies and laugh.
But you had a good time.
I did. I did.
Right, you had a good time. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've had ever a bad time ever in the years that I've ever consumed it ever. I can't recall a time where I'm like, man, this was a bad idea.
Other than that one time I did some salvia with it.
That's another story now.
Yeah, stay away from that. Everybody, if you think, oh, this will be fun to try, it's not going to be. It's just going to give you the worst living nightmares you can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've done the research. I've never consumed it, but I can only imagine.
Yeah, no, it was never something people would look. I was like, no, thank you. What is it? It looked like incense. I thought people were smoking frickin' incense to get high.
See, I just thought like, oh, I'm just gonna do this. It's like smoking weed, right? Nope.
Well, I remember I had a buddy who he told me he smoked salvia, and once he told me this story, I was like, okay, I don't want to go there. He turned into a glass bottle, fell on the ground, and shattered. And I was like, man, if I turned to a glass bottle and shattered, I don't know what the fuck would happen. I was freaking out.
I turned two-dimensional, and I was stuck on the wall. And I finally managed to open a door, but then I looked outside, and it was just blank emptiness. And, this is the worst thing ever, man.
You're in like a Super Mario video game.
Bad memories just talking about it.
I want to find some DMT now and give it to you.
That's supposed to make you feel good, isn't it?
I've watched some people have some really strange reactions
Isn't that like
on it.
What's in ecstasy?
No, it's what your brain produces when you sleep and when you die.
Yeah, it's supposed to take you to a parallel universe, right? Some other world.
Apparently, I guess we could probably find a TED Talk about it for like 6 hours where they break it down. But I know that I watched somebody basically take it one time and then take off all their clothes and run out into the snow and dive into it. And they thought they were dead. Like they thought they were in between life and death. So yeah, maybe it does take you to another reality.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've heard so many people talk about it, and they talk about like talking to a creature or like a lizard type person, and a lot of people share the same story. It's pretty wild.
That's weird. Like that's taking you to the secret moon base.
Yeah.
Well, even with the cannabis movement, I feel like psychedelics now are even, and I'm not, promoting psychedelics, but there's a lot of people out in the scientific community that really believe that psychedelics are really the way to figure out, what is going on in the universe and reach that next stage of thinking.
I agree with that 100%. You expand your mind, right? I mean, everybody's so channeled into what everybody else thinks of them or what they need to be doing because somebody told you that this is the way it's supposed to be. And then, some people expand their mind and, they see things a different way. And I mean, I've definitely had experiences like that. It was pretty damn awesome, to see life in a different way and go, man, I've been living wrong, I think. I think.
Well, actually, there's definitely research going on like right now about magic mushrooms. What is it? Cyclobin, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but about how it like resets your brain. So it's like people with like some forms of anxiety or like PTSD, like they take these trips and it resets their brain to like it kind of like gives it like a reboot, like a computer.
I 100% believe that. I mean, they're talking about using it for depression and, so many different things. I mean, of course, if we take things in abundance, anything, we drink too much water, we die. So if it's regulated and it's, done by professionals, I'm sure it's going to be just awesome rewards, right? I mean, it's been used for millions of years.
Right, stuff like that. All, like, Indians, Native Americans, all cultures have been using mind-altering substances as forms of medicine.
100%. It's just their time. I mean, some of the things that are illegal blow my mind.
Right.
Like of all the things, somebody laughing, having a good time, feeling better about themselves, that's totally not acceptable, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, man, and I mean, again, we go back, it's because the paper industry didn't want to lose all its profits, and, you can also look at the racist motivations behind it because, well, the name of the plant is either hemp or cannabis, but they gave it the fancy name marijuana, so it had that Spanish feel to it. So basically they could say, Mexicans are bringing this into America. That had a lot to do with it, though.
Tijuana, marijuana.
That's why they had all the draconian laws. They were racist laws against Mexicans and blacks. I mean, if you look at Reefer Madness, it talks about your white daughter's going to smoke a joint and then go have sex with a black man.
Absolutely. That's what happens.
Well, times have changed, right? I mean, it is. It's all political, for sure. For a plant to be banned, it's definitely political, because then we should be banning lavender because that relaxes. We should be banning, you know what I mean? Like, what is it? Mint helps you digest food easier, right? It settles you. So these are all technically, herbs that assist you in many different ways. So they should all be banned too.
Yeah, like,
it's just crazy.
Don't even get started on like alcohol and cigarettes.
Oh yeah, we can just neglect the insanity of that compared to this,
right? Yep. How many people? And I'm a smoker. How many people die a day from cigarettes? How many people die in car accidents because they weren't even drunk? Somebody else was. Somebody else made a bad decision, and it altered somebody else's life forever.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And just to loop back to the whole psychedelics, I was actually watching a TED Talk about in Peru and actually up in Canada, they were using, I'm going to kill the name, ashwagandha. It's a root. And
yeah,
you're really bad at like phonics, so I'm sure he butchered that.
I butchered it, so I apologize. There's somebody out there who's probably just took about 6 hits of it and is going to just send me a message and give me the phonetics. Perfectly fine. But they actually used it and gave it to heroin and cocaine addicts, and these people came back and they no longer used the drugs. They had no need for it. And the guy even said, the guy who did the study and was talking on the TED Talk, he said, I was a habitual cannabis user, and even taking this root made me step back and even look at the cannabis.
Wow.
So that was pretty crazy. Yeah, I'll have to find that and post it out there for people because it's a pretty good one. All right, so
it's wild.
Yeah, I could watch stuff and read stuff about that all day. It's so interesting.
Yeah, the human body is just an amazing thing that exists. I mean, I look at it like, we take protein powder and it changes the body. That blows my mind too.
Right. You can manipulate it by working out and things like that. You can go from being 300 pounds to fit and athletic. It's all within your own grasp.
100%.
And a lot of people don't get that. And I think if they did overall, we'd be much better off.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
All right. Now, for all our wrestling fans out there that just went, what the hell did I listen to for the last 15 minutes? Is this still a wrestling podcast? But you started your in-ring career back in 2001. But when did you first become hooked on professional wrestling?
When did I get hooked on it?
Yeah.
I have this story in my head. I don't know if it's 100% true. That it's always been there forever, right? It's just been there since day one. I don't know if that's 100% true, but my most defining moment in it was going to a video store. I must have been like 7, and it was New Year's, and my grandmother was going to take care of me. So my mom took me to the video store. You can rent whatever you want, and I saw this double VHS with Hulk Hogan on it, and it was WrestleMania 4. And I was like, I'm going to take a chance. Maybe she won't let me rent it. Maybe she will. She did. And I sat there for that 4 hours, whatever it was, 4 or 5 hours. I watched it straight, and after that, it was nonstop wrestling. It just never ended from there.
All right, and so who were some of the guys that, especially early on, that you felt you had a connection to and that really helped spark that love for wrestling?
The guys I connected to, obviously, Shawn Michaels is a huge influence to me. I don't know why. I really don't. Like, I mean, as the years go by and as he evolved, I always was connected to him. Maybe it was just his selling. I just loved his selling. I mean, I thought it was so believable. It was just different, and he's just pretty fucking amazing. And then Macho Man Randy Savage. I love his intensity, his insanity, and his promos. His promos were freaking amazing.
Yes.
So, that character, I mean, obviously the Ultimate Warrior was like a big thing for me too. The big jacked up guy, he's a monster, believed him. Those 3 would probably be pretty solid for me. I mean, I had many influences like Austin, Benoit, Guerrero, but growing up it was Macho Man and Shawn Michaels were like, those are the guys.
Yeah, I'm a huge Macho Man fan myself. I actually, where I work, I'm a manager, and for motivation, I have the picture of Macho Man Randy Savage up with the creamer in his hand.
The cream of the crop.
Exactly. And that's what I tell them. You got to be. They made me take it down after a while because we had like auditors coming in. They're like, "Yeah, can we take down all the pictures of Macho Man?" I was like, "Aw, can we keep just one?"
At least, did they let you keep one?
No.
No, they didn't do it.
Cave to the core, Fred.
I did.
That's it. Sometimes you got to do that though.
I'll bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back tomorrow.
That's it, with a big frame.
I'm gonna bring it. I'll blow it up. I'll take like 7 pictures, like break up each part of the picture, and then make a huge collage, and it'll be a giant Macho Man that fills the entire window space.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll let you do that.
I'm gonna try.
Make a point, right? Just go listen. Go big or go home.
That's the Macho Man way.
I don't have his muscles though. That would probably help my point, get my point across better if I wasn't 150 pounds. Yeah, if I could. Oh yeah, put this picture on.
You want me to take this down?
Well, Macho Man wouldn't let you take that down. He'd go, let's thing right up there on the wall, yeah.
I'm gonna start tomorrow at work. I'm gonna do Macho Man all day.
All right.
All day.
All
He's
day.
gotta do the lat spread the whole day. He was flexing all the time. That's why he was so red.
I'm gonna be so sore after work
good
just
point.
from flexing. That's how out of shape I am.
I mean, that's a workout in its own.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a workout. To be Macho Man, just waking up like that for sure is a workout. That's an intense day.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to start off I'm just gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a Sharpie, write the word intensity above where I sleep tonight, so when I wake up, it's the first thing I see.
That's awesome. And then get a coffee or 2, and you'll be macho.
Yeah. So now, getting back to you, is there a particular moment when you decided, hey, I love wrestling and I want to be more than just a fan? I want to be a pro wrestler.
It's no joke, but that day I watched that WrestleMania 4, I already knew, like, that was it. I'm gonna be a wrestler. I thought, I mean, it just hooked me right off the bat. That was it. I was cutting my underwear up and putting Ultimate Warrior logos on them. Doing the whole works, pulling my socks up all the way up. Those were my wrestling boots. I grew up in a house of women, so my 2 sisters, my mom, and my grandma. So there's no like brothers or anyone to wrestle with. So I had this like monster-sized lion stuffed animal. And over the course of the years, it was, if you saw it after like 4 years, it was stitched up, taped up. So many sharpshooters and figure 4s on this thing. Like, I spent, after watching WrestleMania 4, I spent every second of every day either wrestling by myself or watching wrestling or trying to figure out how they did moves. If I put in slow motion, that's how you do the small package. I was studying it from probably 7 years old.
That's pretty awesome because I can almost relate to that because I had a giant stuffed animal myself. It was a giant bunny, and I used to throw it around and wrestle with it. And I actually punched myself in the nose with it one time and made my nose bleed all over the place.
Oh, no. Yeah, you got some good color.
Yep.
Coincidentally, that stuffed animal was also Matt's first girlfriend.
Wow. That was harsh. I should probably call her. Now, my uncle was big into it, so he would always wrestle with me. I used to make him put my underwear on his head because I love the masked wrestlers. So I was like
The
5.
luchador.
Yeah, and I'd be like, come on, you wear this. And he's like,
But he did it to make you happy.
He did it. I just hit the Oreos that were on the floor that our sound guy keeps under my feet.
Sorry, mate.
So how obviously you wanted to be one from, obviously the age of 4, and that's honestly not the first time that we've heard that. We've had a couple people come on. Bats' friend George, same thing, grew up loving wrestling. It's all he ever talked about, told everybody growing up that he was going to be a professional wrestling. But how did you get your foot in the door to actually training?
Well, I was in grade 9, and my mom came home. I was surprised she came home with this. So she came home with a flyer, and she said, "Hey, I saw this wrestling show at this exhibition, and they take kids to train. Do you want to try it?" Because that's all I talked about. She's like, "Just go do it." I did that for a month, and it was just, even at 14, I knew it was just a bad training facility, so I left. Later on, about 2 years later, a year later, in high school, I met a buddy who was also into wrestling just as much as I was, and he started doing co-op at a gym. As he was doing co-op at this gym, I needed a gym because I couldn't afford a gym membership. So I was like, man, if I just talk to your manager that you work for, maybe I could squeeze in cleaning up the stuff, filing stuff, and get a free gym membership. And I did. So he gave me a free gym membership. So I'd skip second and third period of grade 10 every day. And I'd go to the gym, clean the gym, and then work out. While I was doing this, there was a wrestler called Magnus, the real deal, Magnus Von Steel, 300-pounder that's like about 6'2", really nice guy, really strong guy, and he liked to show his muscle, right? So he offered one day for us to go to a show with him, and I said sure. So we did, and there I met Eric Young, another trainer named Danger Boy Derek Wild, and they offered that, hey, we train in Niagara Falls. I was in Toronto. It was a 3-hour Greyhound bus ride. I made it 3 times a week. So I skipped second and fourth period, work out, go downtown, take the bus for 3 hours, train for 2 hours, take the bus 3 hours home again. I did that 3 times a week. I was doing that first with Danger Boy Derek Wild, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good experience. But then we had Eric Young come in, and Eric Young would come in once a week. And I mean, if you guys know Eric Young, he's a phenomenal wrestler. Yeah. And I was sold on him training me immediately. He said that he was opening up a school. It was about a 2-hour bus ride, not a 3-hour bus ride. My trainer said it was okay if I trained with him. He gave me the okay. I went down and I trained with Eric Young for about 6-7 months. He gave me my green light and my first opportunity for a company called, it was FSPW at the time, Fighting Spirit Pro Wrestling, and then it changed to Neo Spirit Pro Wrestling. And I got my foot in the door that way. And yeah, man, after that, I was always booked. I was always hustled.
Yeah, you can tell, that the dedication is there. I mean, if you're willing to drive 3 hours to train for only 2 and then drive, that's 6 hours of your day right there. What
6 hours.
What did you do at that time? Were you just, kind of preparing, looking over matches, things like that, thinking about what you can do for training?
So the first bit was funny because I thought, because all those autobiographies were coming out at the time, like Mick Foley. So I was like, you know what, I might as well start writing my autobiography right now. The way that I think it lasted like 3 trips. I was trying, and I'm terrible at like grammar, all that stuff, horrible. And writing this thing was just more of a pain for me to do, right? So then on the way there, I was worried about my supplements and putting on size because I was about 120 pounds, maybe 125 pounds, and I just wanted to get big. So I was focusing on that. I did a lot of crossword, and on the way back, I would watch my matches because I'd bring a camcorder in and record the whole class. And on the way back, I would watch everything and critique everything that I did and what I hated and what that I did and how I'm going to change it. And that's pretty much what I do. On the way there was sleep and crossword puzzles, and on the way back was you were buzzing off wrestling for 2 hours, so I just watched the whole 2 hours.
Nice. So now, you're like 16, 17.
Yeah, when I was doing that, I was 16. Yeah,
that's crazy, man.
My first match was at 17. 16 was my first match. That's when I debuted.
Yeah, you've been dedicated from the beginning.
Yeah, I've been doing that's all I wanted to do, man. I don't think I could do anything else. I tried. I didn't like it.
But it's a great thing because not to get all sentimental here, but really, I mean, it's awesome because you had this dream early on, and you think about how many people out there in their lives have that dream that may not seem realistic when you're 4 years old. Doesn't matter what it is, but you did it and you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you're a testament to people that you can, no matter how far-fetched other people may think it is possible.
Thanks, man. It is. It definitely is possible. There's a day when I just realized, everything just everything started with an idea, everything. And every idea was always shot down probably 1,000 times before it was accepted, every single time. So, I mean, I got to believe in myself because I got to live this way anyways, right? I got to be myself. So what the hell do I got to lose? What do I got to lose?
You're going to be far more happy, you know, doing what you love, even if, you know, it's not always the best, because everything is difficult. Even if you love it, everything has its moments where you just want to give up on it. But if you truly love it, and if it means more than just a paycheck or something like that, you're going to stick with it. You're going to get over those tough moments.
Yeah, I read a quote that said, do what you love, fuck the rest. And it makes so much sense to me. Because, you know, you read all this stuff about time and how much time we have, and we don't know how much time we have. I mean, someone said on your deathbed, you know, you don't look at anyone and you know, you don't ask for forgiveness. You don't care what anyone thinks at that moment. People have said, right? They just talk about the things that they missed out on.
Right.
So we only got one shot at this, and it's a cheesy line, but it's the truth. So, I mean, every second you have to do what you love to do, I mean, just embrace it and enjoy it. If something comes out of it, great. If you make $1 million, awesome. If you don't, you still did it.
Right, you have the memories, which I think at the end of the day, when you're on that deathbed, regardless of how much money you have, if you loved it, you're going to cherish those memories, the people that you met along the way, and everything that came from it. The money is secondary.
100%. Yeah, I mean, Norman Stott actually trained me a little bit as well. In like 2009, I went down to FCW, and he trained me a little bit. And he told me something crazy that I never really picked up on until that moment. But he was talking about Benoit and Eddie Guerrero when they were crying at WrestleMania 20. And he asked us why they were crying. And, you know, everyone's like, well, because he's finally a champion and all this stuff. And he just looks at us, he's like, nah, man. It's the journey. It was all the journey. That's the fun part. You know, you get to the championship. That's cool. That's awesome. But you cry because you look back at everything you did to get to that one point. That means so much to you, right? And that comes with friends and loss of friends and, you know, heat with people and injuries and all this shit. You get to this one point. You finally make it to that point where you're like, I made it to the top. All these emotions just blast out of you. And it's because all you're thinking about is the journey. You probably at that moment don't even care about the belt. You probably just care about how you got there.
Right. I mean, you're looking back, you're not thinking about that. Like, if you look at, I remember, you know, vividly as a child when Shawn Michaels finally won the belt, and I remember getting the magazine, and you can see him holding the belt. You know he's not thinking about that title. He's thinking about everything that led up to that moment.
Yeah, he's like, I fucking did it. All through all that bullshit, I did it.
And, you know, if you
can't take that away.
Right. Nobody can ever take that away from you. It's yours.
It's yours, yeah. Whether you lose the belt, you get the belt again, that moment, and that's another moment, part of the journey too, right, is you getting to that point.
Right.
That's a whole new story.
That's a wild one. Wrestling's a trip. So many wrestlers I see, and I mean, I train wrestlers as well, and I see so many come and go and they give up on themselves. I'm like, man, you know, everybody that's ever given up, they were probably like 3 months from getting to the point where they were looking to be in. The frustration got the best of them and they quit, you know. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly. You know, we'd have 1 million people doing what they love, and unfortunately, we don't because, again, they give up.
Yeah, we give up. We just decide that shit, maybe I can't do this, and that's a crazy thought, right?
Right. And I mean, speaking to your drive, I mean, you can see. I mean, if you're going to training and then you're watching the videos right afterwards, I mean, you can really tell nothing was going to stop you, and I think that's awesome, and I hope the people listening, you know, whatever you're doing in your lives, it doesn't matter what it is, but if it's something you love even a little bit, go for broke. It's the best.
Go for it, man.
It's the best thing you can do, you know, even if you fail.
I mean, that's the worst thing you could do is fail. I mean, I think the word fail is when you finally like accept that you can't do something in your own mind, right? I mean, maybe missing an opportunity and not succeeding as soon as you wanted to be. I mean, I don't consider that failure because you still attempted. I mean, like you say, like, so many people don't even try. You know, so if you're the one person that tries, anyone that walks through my studio that comes and trains, I'm like, number one, that you just walked through that door and you signed up. I mean, I already have props to you, my hat's off to you, because you did one thing that's probably the hardest thing to do is just walk through that door.
Right, yeah. I mean, you're going into a whole new world, something you're unaware of, completely uncomfortable, and you're putting yourself out there in front of complete strangers, trying to do something that you love, and you don't know how they're going to react.
Especially when it's a live event. That's a whole different world.
Now, when you're watching those matches early on, what do you feel were some of the most difficult aspects of professional wrestling for you to grasp?
Watching other wrestlers or watching those study my tapes?
Watching your own tapes.
The hardest thing for me was, I really didn't like my size. I was like, man, I don't look like a wrestler. And I knew that had to go with whether I could do an amazing bump or an amazing elbow drop or whatever it was I did, if I thought it was great or if I thought it was shitty. the one thing that came out of my mind at that time was, I don't look like a wrestler. And I was obsessed with the idea of getting the size and becoming the look of what a wrestler would be. At least the wrestler in my mind would be. And at that time, it was, I want to be as big as Triple H. I mean, I'm 17 years old. It's not going to happen. But, but at 17, I really believed, I'm like, fuck, in a year, I'll be as big as Triple H. And then I met Triple H at a tryout, and I realized how big he actually was. And I'm 5'11" on a good day. Yeah, I could get big, but that's like an unrealistic goal right there. But I always thought the hardest thing was looking at myself and going, man, am I believable? Do I look the part? And I didn't think I did. So I looked at that more than I actually looked at the moves. The moves for me, I mean, I felt like it came easy. I felt like being athletic was an easy part. Psychology and things that progress you as a performer later on in the years. That stuff at the beginning was just like, it made no sense to me. Like, I'll go in there and jump off the top rope 100 times. Why not? And right, I was like, oh, that was cool though. I did this wicked flip, and I mean, the place would go nuts. Not understanding, storytelling and things like that. That was one thing that was hard for me to grasp right off the bat. But I felt like it came pretty quick once I started to work with. I was able to work with guys like Eric Young right off the bat. And it was really cool. It was a really strong growth period for me to be able to work these guys because, without even realizing it, you're learning how to do it just by following.
Right. I don't think anybody would be unhappy. I mean, having Eric Young to really get to see and be around and teach is a great opportunity. And again, I'm gonna say, with your drive, I mean, it's awesome that you were able to find that, because that seems like a perfect pair to me. Great teacher and a student that wants to grow. I mean, that's a perfect combination every time.
It was a lot of fun. He really was a great teacher, and he really knew how to make it easy to learn. And that's the one thing that I could take from him. He kept it basic, but he also he never stopped me from trying new things. If I want to do a Van Terminator, I don't know, 3 months in, he's like, fuck, try it, man. If you want to do it, do it. And, it was cool, though, right? Because, so many times you're like, oh, man, maybe I'm not allowed to try this. Maybe I should try this. Or he was really open to you finding who you are as a performer. And that was one of the most amazing things that I could have ever received. I've seen a lot of other training facilities and a lot of trainers, and, they don't have the same kind of freedom. And, it's really strict. And, I mean, I get it. But, I mean, at the same time, wrestling's supposed to be fun. And when I was training with Eric Young, it was just all the time. We were just having a good time. It was like a bunch of buddies hanging out. We obviously knew who was the instructor and who was the more experienced person because we were paying them. But we all had a good time. So it was really cool. It was really cool to hang out with somebody, and you're a kid in this grown man's world, and they accept you and they let you be yourself. The dude was awesome, and it made it easy to learn. You're in a place where you feel comfortable, you're having fun, and you're with your buddies. I mean, you can only dream about that, right? Imagine being in high school and you're just in a classroom with just your buddies and a pretty dope-ass teacher. Right. You're going to learn.
Exactly, yeah. Most people would be like, oh, no, nothing's going to get done. But you're allowed to be yourself. You're allowed to try new things and allow your creativity to go. And that's really how, people become more comfortable with each other. They grow as individuals and with working with other people. So that's really good that, you were able to have that experience. We have had we have been told, some pretty bad horror stories from training facilities and things like that through a few episodes, and it's really sad that we hear that, that they're not as free-flowing as that. But at the same time, like you said, you understand why certain places have to be strict, but I think you also need to let creativity fly as well.
Yeah, I think anybody, I've been training people now for 3 years, and we've developed some solid talent, and the one thing that I see when people are too strict is, you get cookie cutters. Right. You get someone that's just like you, but they're not you, so why are you trying to make them you, right? I'm sure Eric Young isn't probably a fan of the half-baked kid, but, I am who I am, right? I never signed up with them to ask for his approval of me as an individual. I asked him to train me to be a pro wrestler. And I think people need to remember that. Each person is an individual with their own desires and their own view on things, and they should be allowed to do whatever they really want to be themselves and express themselves. As long as they're doing it in a safe and, I guess, intelligent way, that's going to be beneficial to them in the end.
Well, we say it on every episode, so I'm going to say it right now. In this day and age, there's something for everybody in pro wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of stuff we probably don't even know about yet.
There's more niche stuff than, you haven't even heard of that. But it may be for you.
You stole my line, Bats. I get to say that 2018, there's something. Well, it was 2017. Now I can say it's 2018. There's something for everybody.
There's something for everybody.
Now, we kind of touched on it earlier. Your first match, 16 years old. What's going through your mind right before you're about to get in the ring?
Well, my first appearance was in a battle royal. And I was losing my mind because the Iron Cheek was on the card, Disco Inferno was on the card, and so was Conan. And I was losing my mind. I was like, I made it. This is big times. I'm here. And I show up, and I don't know if you guys know Kazarni. He used to be in WWE. He came up to me. He's like, Chris, I'm going to have some tights for you and stuff because I know that you don't have your gear because I wasn't ready yet with gear. They just kind of said, you're going to do this battle royal. I'm going to bring you something. I go, cool. He shows up. I got, Nikes on and my ASIC knee pads from amateur wrestling, and he throws me a trench coat and his boxer shorts. I'm not joking. His boxer shorts. The guy's like 220. I'm about 130 pounds now. And he goes, you're going to wear these boxer shorts. You're going to throw the trench coat on. You're going to run out, and you're going to flash people. So you're going to be like a streaker. I was like, this is insane. And I was a really shy kid, too, so I was freaking out. I'm playing it cool, but I was like, oh, my God. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So it's at a college. So, the crowd's rowdy. I walk out there, and, I run out. I have the jacket closed. I look at everybody. I open it up. I'm doing the thing. And it's getting a response, so that was fun. I get in the ring, and I realize that everybody was bloodthirsty for the green kid, and they chopped the shit out of me.
Oh, no.
They all just took rounds, and they gave me a beating, and I was like, oh, my God. And, the crazy thing is, I was like, this is so fucking awesome. I didn't even care. I was like, yeah, I'm in the ring. I'm in front of 600 people. This is my first day. I took a back body to get eliminated out of the Rumble within 2 minutes, of course. The first thing I have to do is take some stupid bump. Out of the ring on my first day. My buddy gets gorilla pressed onto me, and I just remember, I was bleeding everywhere because he chopped the shit out of me. I came to the back, and I'm sitting there, and I was really satisfied with myself with my 2-minute performance out there. And Disco Inferno sitting there, and he's looking at me, and he's like, you don't have to do that, kid. I'm like, do what? He's like, you didn't have to do that, you don't have to go up there and, cut your face. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you go out there, you cut your face. I go, this blood? I was like, no, they beat the shit out of me, dude. This is what I got from you guys. I remember he thought I went out and got color. I didn't care anyways because I wasn't a fan of Disco Inferno, so I was like, whatever, dude. I didn't give a shit what he said. If it was Conan, all right,
Yeah.
But I didn't care what he said. But I just always thought it was funny. That was like a moment. I was like, after the match, just getting shit from Disco Inferno, going out there and getting my ass kicked for 2 minutes to the point where I was bleeding. Took a back body over the top, was a streaker, and my name was Skippy the Terrible.
Oh, man.
They really got me. They really ribbed me well.
Yeah.
They did. They ribbed me well. I did it, so I played along. I did it twice, and then after that, they never made me do it again, and I got to do my own thing, so I believe I earned their respect.
I would say so. I mean, the fact that you came back and you did it again,
I did it again.
A lot of people would not do that. A lot of people wouldn't have gone out there the first time, but again, that just goes back to your love. You're new to it. You don't, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I was wrestling in front of by myself, filming myself when I was a kid, wrestling teddy bears. I was like, this is no problem. Like, thank you for giving me an audience. I've been doing this in front of nobody, killing myself.
I mean, yeah, you got 600 people to cheer you getting your ass kicked.
It was awesome. I remember that was just like such a buzz. I got paid $5.
I mean,
and it was pardon.
I mean, that's a value meal.
Yeah, I went to the coffee shop, and I think I was with a couple friends, and I think I said it was on me. I thought it was a big shot, but everybody had coffee, a tea, or hot chocolate, and there was my payday, and I was probably in the negative $3. So.
But you were loving it.
I was loving it. I was like, I got paid. $5 was $5 at that time to wrestle. I was like, man, I've been paying so much money to watch it. Even if it was $1, it's like, oh, I'm on the up now. Now I'm getting my payback. Payback's coming.
That's true.
Now, what about your first singles match? What was that like for you?
I don't know if I remember what my first singles... Oh, I do remember. Okay. My first singles match, because I was doing some tag team stuff. They put me in a mask, called me Kobu, because in Japanese that means bump, and I could bump right off day one. That's one thing I was able to do, is take a back bump. I don't know if I was able to do a flip bump right off the bat, but I could take a back bump. And I got the opportunity to leave that group because my tag partner at the time, he wasn't really showing up. He wasn't really, performing well. So they just decided to break it up. They gave me my first singles match against a guy named Chase Fury. It's a shame that he doesn't wrestle anymore because the dude was so amazing back in the day. I was really excited to wrestle him. I remember being at home on MSN Messenger, and he messaged me, and he's like, hey, man, I got this idea for a singles match. And I'm pumped. I'm like, fuck, he's talking to me about a match. This is insane. He's like, I'm going to do a moonsault, and I want you to drop kick me in midair. And right away, I just said, that's a bad idea. He's like, why? I go, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing at this point. I'm just trying to get through my first match, let alone drop kick you in midair while you're doing a moonsault. I don't want any bits of it. He made me do it. Okay, so the match happens. I give him this drop kick. I didn't have the power to kick him and rotate him over because he's a heavy dude. And I'm not joking. He broke every finger in both hands. Every finger. Not his thumbs, but he broke every finger. And he comes up to me. He's like, man, I broke every single finger, man. I'm fucked up. I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, oh, that's cool, man. Let's keep going.
Oh
and the dude finished the match. He was happy as hell. Never got upset at me. He's like, hey, man, you said you didn't want to do it. You said you would do it because I forced you to do it. You tried. I broke all my fingers. You were right. That's the one thing my first match. The guy broke all his fingers.
But at least he understood that, like, hey, this was my, dumb idea. So I'm going to take full responsibility here and be like, yeah, you may have kicked me, but I really broke my own fingers.
You did. You take the green kid, the 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid, and his first day, don't make him drop kick you while you do a moonsault. Unless he's done it a million times before that, right?
Right. I should have been practicing him on those teddy bears.
That's right. That was one thing that wasn't accessible to me at that time.
Now, if we look through, you've been going 15 years plus now. Do you recall a particular moment in wrestling when you became fully confident in what you were doing?
Yeah, I guess it was like 19 years old. I felt really confident with what I was doing. I should have been because there's a lot more to learn, but I felt like I knew everything already, and I was a little too confident. But then, eventually you grow up a little bit and you realize, what you're doing. But then in the past, the past 5 years, I felt comfortable being myself because that's where I really started to be myself. I used to get heat for, pod and all these things, and then I one day just said, I don't give a fuck. Like, everybody's going to have heat with me anyways, so I don't give a shit. And the funny thing is when I started to claim that I was a half-baked kid and things like that, I got more acceptance, more praise, less heat, all those things. So once I was able to be myself fully, was past 5 years, I really felt extremely confident in everything that I was doing.
Yeah, and I think people can tell when you go from kind of not being yourself to being yourself, that you really start to grow and you show a different side, a more mature side, and probably, attracted more people to you and took off some of that heat.
Yeah, it definitely did. It's only been a positive for me. At this moment, I'm really enjoying it, and it's a lot. You hear other superstars say things like, Stone Cold, he only made it when he started being himself, right? And I can't stank people have said that in the past for me to hear, so I can understand it. But being yourself, it really is. It is the cool thing. Nobody thinks they're cool. You know what I mean? So if you picture yourself, you're like, man, I can't do that. I'm not cool. I don't know. But the reality is other people are watching you and they perceive you differently and they look at you differently than you look at yourself. And somebody's going to connect to you. If you like video games, somebody's going to like video games. They're going to relate to you. If you like being funny and you're a comedy guy, then people that like to laugh are going to relate to you. You want to be a monster like Brock Lesnar, and you are that. You're going to relate to a lot of people that want to be that or can relate to that. So you have to just be yourself. And once you're yourself, I think that's the easiest way to be confident because you can't mess that up. That's you.
Right. You can't screw up that gimmick.
You can't. That's just how it is. If that's how you walk, that's how you walk.
Exactly. Now you're the half-baked kid, but you're also a part of Kush. So can you kind of tell us what Kush is and what you guys are all about?
So Kush is it was me and a guy named Young Miles who started Kush. We were tag team, and we're doing it at Superkick'd, and we're picking up a lot of momentum. And it naturally it was one of those things where we're like, let's just do this thing. We started doing this thing and started to pick up steam. And naturally, we introduced other members. So we have a guy, Phil Atlas, Roach. Roaches are exactly what that sounds like. A guy that's named Roach. And then we have a guy named San Andreas, who's a pretty badass dude. He's one of our gangster cholos. and then we have an 8-foot weed leaf.
What?
We called Herb Cushman. He's our mascot.
Herb Cushman.
He comes out, Herb Cushman, and he supports us. He's actually been in our last Rumble. He didn't do so well. He got rolled up,
Oh,
and everyone tried to smoke him.
of course.
But of course, it was a good time. So there's a bunch of us in that. So it's Phil Atlas, Roach, San Andre, myself, and Young Miles is no longer part of Kush. He smashed me in the face with a chair and, told me to screw off. And we rumbled about it.
I would hope so.
And that's really what it was. We a bunch of us, and we all live the lifestyle, and we have a good time together, and it's really working, and we're having a blast doing it. So did a good 2.5 years of having our own crew called Kush.
And how do you guys resonate with the fans up there?
They love it, man. I mean, everyone's having a good time. Everybody connects with us. Again, in Toronto, it's one of the places where it's really being pushed for leaks. You can go anywhere and you'll see a dispensary, probably like 5 within 3 blocks. So the culture is really strong here. We have a marijuana march that draws a crazy amount of people in the city and around the world as well. So there's a strong community the fans have really taken to it. And the cool thing is they take us seriously. They don't look at us like some stereotypical, stoners and think that, we can't do anything. And that's the whole point of this whole thing, is to prove that, you can consume this and you can become a champion, or you can, the stereotypes, just smash that stupid stereotype of it be making you lazy and, unmotivated. It's the complete opposite. That's just each individual, right? If you're a lazy person, you're going to be lazy.
Right. It doesn't matter what you put in front of you, If you don't want to do anything with your life,
exactly,
you're not going to do anything. Clearly, you are proof of the opposite, that, using cannabis does not make you lazy, because you do more than...
It just doesn't. I grind in the gym all the time. I'm wrestling all the time. I probably spend, honest to God, like 7 hours in a wrestling ring every day. But if you say you are lazy and you're going to do nothing, at least the one thing you should be doing is smoking weed, because if you're doing nothing, you're not smoking weed.
You're probably really fucking bored.
That's probably pretty fucking... That's boring. You can't watch... You can only watch... You watch a movie stoned, you can watch that movie 7-8 different times, and you'll see different stuff every single time. There'll be a new movie every day.
You can't argue with that.
You can't. It's the truth. If you do nothing, you might as well do it.
Or people should come out... Well, I don't know why that was so loud. Or people should come out on... What is it going to be? January 19th for Superkick'd Pro Wrestling Rock Show?
Yeah, January 19th is the next event. It's at the Great Hall in Toronto, and I'm going to be facing my student, Mark Wheeler, for my championship. So it's going to be an interesting one. I've never wrestled him before. He's a top talent. He was just doing some stuff with TNA. Something really bad. I think it was Global Forged. So he's making his mark. He's doing really great for himself. He's a cocky little shit, though. So we're gonna rumble. It'll be a good one. I know it'll be a hard hitting, high intensity match that will definitely leave me sucking wind at the end of it. I'll be pretty gassed. He's gonna give me a run for my money for sure.
All right. Now you also happen to be co-owner of Superkick'd.
I am the owner.
The owner?
Superkick'd.
Okay.
The owner. There's only one.
Okay.
It is me.
Well, then, wherever I got that from was wrong, so I apologize. So you are the owner of Superkick'd.
Rectomando. Yeah, I am the owner of Superkick'd. We started it, I started it 3 years ago, and it's been picking up steam. We're having a great time. The whole crew's having a great time. It's the most fun I've had in wrestling ever.
Yeah, I got a chance to check out a couple of your matches and a couple of other ones. You guys have a really good production value from what I was able to see on YouTube. I really like your ring, your setup. It's very nice. It's got that really good, you can tell you have a nice die-hard audience there.
They're hardcore rowdy fans to wrestle in front of them. Everybody that's wrestled in front of them, it's just, you leave feeling amazing. I've wrestled in front of thousands of people, but there's something about that hall that it's just different. It's different. It's just a strong energy in there. It's a lot of fun to wrestle in front of those people.
Now, you said it started about 3 years ago. How did it come to be?
Well, I was doing some stuff for Ring of Honor. I did a tryout. At least they led me to believe they were interested in me. And I take training serious. I take every match as if I was probably going into the Olympics. My brain just triggers something else. I go really hard. I was doing sprints at a park in Toronto, and I actually tore my hamstring off, my bone. So that was the end of my wrestling career at that moment. That was, what was it, 5 years? It must have been 5 years ago now. And it was on my 27th birthday. I believe it was 27th birthday. I was told that I'll never wrestle again because I tore my hamstring off. And there's 7 hamstrings. I tore one of them. It was the biggest one. I had 6 that were still intact. Well, the doctor told me that there's nothing they could do to repair it unless I had like $1 million. And definitely at that time in my life, definitely wasn't even close to possible. And they said that was it, that this is how I have to live. So once I realized that the doctor told me I couldn't do anything and that I have to live this way, I figured I might as well try to wrestle again anyways. So I had a lot of time sitting on the couch. I couldn't walk for, I think it was about almost 4 months. And in those 4 months, my brain started brewing some ideas. And I always think, I find the positive in a situation, and I believe I did. And I sat down and I started writing down all my ideas and what I wanted to do. And when I was ready to go, I just did it. And I just put together the Superkick'd studio, the events, and it just kind of started happening on its own with just movement.
I mean, that's just another testament to your determination and drive, man. Like, you got knocked down, but you turned it into a positive there.
I had no choice, right? What are you going to do? Just sit on the couch? Well, I guess I could have just sat on the couch, right?
Yeah.
I do have the necessary requirements to do that. I have the accessories.
And then another thing I take out of that is like you have like actual serious pain that you use this pain management for, and it's proof, like this really helps out.
It really did. I mean, it helped me. I won't lie. At that time, I was sitting on the couch and I was doing nothing. And the reality is I was vaping weed and playing Sega Genesis. And after I beat all the games that I really wanted to my whole life from being a kid, I was like, this is the time I got time to spend and beat these games. Once I beat those, I was like, I started brewing these ideas. It helped me heal my pain a little bit, at least take off the tension of, summertime, looking at everybody outside having a good time, and I'm stuck on this couch. I can't move. And it really helped me. I think it also helped me heal because it's just my mind was at a different place. I wasn't freaking out. I was able to just think clearly and calm down and just really like evaluate my situation, my life situation at that time. I'm like, man, if I never get to wrestle again, what am I going to do? I got to be part of wrestling. If I can't do it physically, at least I can help somebody else with something. Maybe I can create a storyline. Maybe I can, book a show. Maybe I can just, train younger students that need to learn the game, right, and pass it down. At least that way I'd be involved in it. And I never want to not be involved in it.
And I just think it's amazing that you're pretty much told you're never gonna wrestle again.
Yeah, he looked me he looked me right in the face, and that was the one thing. First, the crazy thing is nobody thought I tore my hamstring for like a month until I finally forced them to give me an MRI. I did everything, X-ray, ultrasound. And I was like, I tore my hamstring, and they didn't believe me. And they finally said, okay, when they saw the MRI, they're like, oh, guess what? You did tear your hamstring.
Crazy, right?
I was like, what do you know? And I was like, I told you I haven't been able to walk forever, so something's wrong back there. And I was like, Doc, am I able to ever wrestle again? That's all I want to know. And he said, no. He goes, that's definitely impossible. So when he said that, I went to the gym right away. I went and started squatting. I couldn't squat, but the bar maybe. I remember having a hard time having the bar on my back, and that was like a reality check going, shit, maybe I can't wrestle ever again, right? But I just kept going to the gym. I made sure I walked every time. If it took me 2 hours to walk to the gym, I walked slowly. I was like, Arnold says it, a body in motion stays in motion. He was right, because I kept moving, and I was able to wrestle again. And I believe I'm better than I was before I tore it, because it made me think of things in a different way. I had to work around it, and then working around it made me better at, I guess, some weak points that I had. And then naturally I felt comfortable, and I was able to do all the other stuff as well that I used to do. So it didn't happen overnight. It took me about a good, I think, year in the ring to feel really confident with myself. I probably had a shitload of shitty matches somewhere. And I apologize to the guys that I've wrestled at that time. But I had to get my stride back. I had to get that groove back and lose the fear of maybe I'm going to snap the rest of them off while I do this, because I did risk. I do every time I wrestle. I risk that too, right? But it's worth it.
That's crazy, man. And again, I mean, a lot of people would have just given up. A lot of people would have said, hey, I'm completely done with wrestling. And you, even if you could never wrestle again, you were going to, do the promotion. You're going to help people train. You were still going to give everything you could to professional wrestling because of that love that's existed for so long.
I can't explain why it's there. It's just once I saw it, wrestling, it just took over me 100%. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd work out a lot. I don't fucking know. I'd have to be around it somehow. I'd probably attend every wrestling event if I couldn't do it or somehow be a part of it. I'd still find a way.
Now, for us outside of the Toronto area, how can we catch a Superkick'd show? Is there any way for us to stream that or anything like that?
Yeah, so it's on the Global Wrestling Network. There's select matches that are up there. And then if you stay tuned to our YouTube channel, every week we do free match Mondays, so we throw out a match, the top matches from the monthly event, so you get the top 4, and we throw those up on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook. You can watch them all there for free, so at Superkick'd. And then later on in time, I believe we'll start releasing the whole event, and people will be able to just access that as well. So we just throw it out there for you guys to watch.
Awesome, and like I said earlier, I recommend anybody check it out. You guys have I particularly am a fan of those when you can tell there's a really die-hard audience, and it's a nice little tight-knit community, and you can tell that you guys have that, and on top of that, it's a great production value, and everything is phenomenal.
The roster is pretty solid. We got some heavy hitters in there, some crazy high flyers, and it's a very passionate locker room. It's we don't keep any negativity. It's a very positive group. The whole crew's family.
That's awesome. Well, Bats, we might have a reason to travel to Toronto now. I think we might have to make the trek one of these times. He's done.
Many months ahead of us. We actually got a 420 show that happened on 420. That'll be a record-breaking day, I think.
We might have
Sounds fun.
We might have to make the trip for that one, Bats.
Toronto on 420?
Yeah, our work is definitely going to look at us weird.
Yeah.
But I think they'll understand with how much at work I talk about wrestling, to the point I've been told that, hey, you're talking a little loud about wrestling, that they would believe me when I said I'm going just to see a wrestling show.
Oh, I don't think anyone would believe me.
Well, that's because you have long hair and wear a bandana.
You send them some Snapchat. Look where I'm at. Yeah, if you guys ever want to come down, you let me know. Come down. It's a great time. It's definitely. I haven't met anybody that has come to the show and hadn't had a good time in some way, shape, or form.
No, I could definitely get a few friends to definitely come up and convince that. I mean, let's go to Toronto. Let's watch some wrestling. I got enough friends right there that would be in.
Yeah, man. Come down. You'll have a blast.
Now, before we go to our unhinged part, I got a few more here for you. What would be the best piece of advice? Because you've gone through a lot throughout your career just based on the brief stories that you've shared with us today. What would be the best piece of advice you could give to anybody out there looking to become a professional wrestler?
Don't listen to anybody but the person inside you. So many people are going to knock you down for whatever you want to do, and the reality is, it really is the people that knock you down can't do it themselves, or they're scared you're going to do something, and they're not going to be a part of it, or they're afraid that, man, they wish they could do it, and you can, and they're going to stop you. So all I've ever seen my whole life with people that quit in wrestling is because they listen to somebody else. It's just another human being like you that has a thought. So believe in your thoughts and fight for what you believe in, no matter what. Even if it's a shitty day and a shitty time in your life, if it really means something to you, stick by your guns and don't sell out to yourself. Be real. Be yourself.
You're absolutely right, and I think that goes for any line of work that somebody's in, or life in general. Just be yourself, and you'll be 100% happier and most likely a lot more successful.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one you, right? The reality is there's only one you, so, I mean, why try being someone you're not?
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
Right. An impression of an original is worthless.
Yeah, 100%. Right, and you gotta. It takes guts to try to be original.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of people are gonna ridicule you, and they're gonna basically try to put you down. Probably most likely because they didn't think of it first.
Most likely that's the case. Most likely when you see negativity, it's because somebody's upset that they didn't do it, or it really comes out to the other individual, not you, right?
Right.
Now, I've been shit on by many wrestlers and high levels that have said some horrible things to me, and I just brush it off. I say, whatever. You're just a dude. You're just another man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm not gonna go home and cry about it. You're just another human being. It's no different than if I was on the bus and someone said something mean to me. I'd be like, whatever. It's your opinion means everything, right? Because everybody's opinion, the ones that are powerful in this world, have believed in their own opinion, and that's the one thing that they all share. They believe in themselves and don't take anyone's shit.
Yeah, the only person's opinion of yourself you should care about is your own.
Yeah, exactly. If you think you're a piece of shit, well then maybe you should change some things up. If you feel that you're doing things and you feel pretty awesome about what's going on in your life, don't let anyone tell you different.
Exactly.
Right, because at the end of the day, you're the only person that's got to look yourself in the mirror. You know, nobody else has to deal with it when nobody else is.
Yeah,
around.
I mean, you know, you see people. Sometimes people are unhappy and stuff, and I get a lot of students coming in. Sometimes they're unhappy. You know, they had a bad day, and I'm like, well, you made that choice to be unhappy. I know there's shitty situations in this world, but you make the choice. You either choose to be upset or you choose to be happy. It really is that simple. It sounds like an asshole thing to say, but it really is a choice.
Right, and sometimes being upset is the right move to make. Like, sometimes you don't want to be happy about a situation, and that feels better.
Yeah, 100%. And then that eventually makes you happy about the situation over time, right?
Sometimes you just got to let steam off, you know. Sometimes things get you and you got to be a little frustrated. But that's good. It's good to be frustrated, because if you're not frustrated about something and you don't let it out, it's going to be far worse.
Yeah, and it probably means you didn't care about anything.
Right.
It's cool to care about stuff and have passion about stuff. That's what people are scared to do. It's crazy that people are scared to be passionate about things they love because of other people.
Right, we're so concerned about what everybody else thinks. Which at the end of the day, if we just did it, you know, most of those people are gonna be like, "Wow, dude, that was fucking awesome. That was great."
100%. How many times you go to karaoke and the person goes up there and tears it up that wasn't embarrassed? The whole place is bumping and rumbling with it, right? They're having a good time. And the person that goes up there and they destroy and embarrass themselves technically, and everyone's kind of laughing. But at the same time, they're the ones up there, and the one thing you're going to say when they get off the stage is, man, they had the guts to go up there.
Right, while
you're still going to earn...
Oh, go ahead.
You're going to earn that respect. You still earn that respect.
Absolutely.
For doing yourself.
They might be laughing at you, but they ain't going up on that stage.
They're not exactly, and they know that, That's why they're the ones sitting there laughing.
Which, for anyone out there listening, if you're at a bar and there's karaoke, go up there and sing. It's fucking fun.
It is fun. It's nerve-wracking, but it's fun. Well, for me, it's nerve-wracking. I'm horrible at it, but I would do it.
So, someone who gets beat up in a ring in front of hundreds of people is scared to sing in a bar.
That terrifies me 100%.
Well, right, but he's good at wrestling. He probably can't. He's probably, if he's anything like me, he's probably tone deaf and would probably make half the people throw the beer at him. It would hurt more than a wrestling match.
Exactly.
That's still entertainment.
Emotional.
People having fun throwing beers.
I'd be devastated.
Yeah, it's not fun when you're the person having the beer thrown at you, Bats.
Fair
exactly.
Now, before we get to his game, how can our listeners follow you?
Well, you can follow me Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at the Half Baked Kid. I don't have a YouTube. All my stuff that happens lately is all through Superkick'd. So you can catch me again through Superkick'd, and Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at the Half Baked Kid.
All right. Now we're going to unhinge the gimmick table for our final little segment of the night. All right, what do you got for us tonight, Bats?
Well, I figured we'd do more of like a group session, because we all know that like some things are just better with other people. So I thought it'd be cool to like give some wrestling moves, maybe rename them a little bit, themed towards the Mary J. So first one, I was thinking of, like, we'll just have like a group discussion here. We can all come up with some cool ideas. I was thinking we could call it the triple bong ripper, and that starts out as a rolling suplex, but instead of doing the third suplex, you step in front of them and give them a nice rock bottom. So, you know, that really, like, you know, hits you home on the third one. So, I don't know, you got any ideas?
Is it a wrestling move based off marijuana?
Well, the move would be named after marijuana.
I got tons.
Yeah, he's probably got
I know. That's what I was kind of hoping for.
He's like, let me get my notebook real quick.
You got the hash plant, which is a version of the Michinoku driver. Right? You're planting them. The commentary always says something. I can't remember. Every time I will drop off the top rope. I forget what he calls it, and it makes me laugh every time. I can't remember now. That sounds silly. There's vaporizer. There's super kick. Vaporize your opponent, right? When Roach hits the ounce, the dime bag. It's like kind of like a 5-knuckle shuffle, but instead he's hitting the invisible joint and driving the fist
all right.
on his opponent. the grow up. That's what we call ourselves, the grow up crew. You know, if you got the frog splash, which is a super strain. Like, I mean, with this, we can go all day. The CBD, we can call that a DDT. You know, a version of DDT called the CBD.
This is way more than I could have thought of.
Yeah,
I've had a lot more time to think about these things.
Yeah.
I've been prepping. I got the cheat sheet.
Yeah, you didn't even know what the game was. You picked the game that he probably has a notebook. He's like, let me get my notebook out. I got tons of them.
I like the triple chamber bong, so that's a good one.
Um,
Maybe we should just get a bong and smash it and call it the triple chamber.
No, let's not smash it.
That's not nice.
The bong grip, I don't know.
You should never throw a bong, bro.
You can't do it. If you're going to do it so you break it over someone's head.
Yeah.
Right?
In wrestling, it's allowed.
In wrestling, you can break a bong.
It's the only time it's acceptable.
Yes. Whatever's there, you use it. I've been bottled before in a wrestling match. I've never been hit with the bong. I can't say that I have.
That might be a new one. I'm sure not many wrestlers can say they've been hit with the bong.
No, it would be a wild one, man. I'm sure that would rattle you with a serious concussion.
Yeah.
Especially if someone, ripped it first and then just smashed it over your head.
So the smoke.
Yeah, it'd be smoking too.
They didn't even clear the bong. Jeez.
If you could clear and smash it, that's pretty dope.
Nobody's getting up from that.
No, that you can't. That's it. Then once you get hit with the bong hit, it's toast.
The ultimate bong hit.
That's it. That's a good one right there, the ultimate bong hit.
It'll be the first time anybody's ever died from a bong hit.
There you go. We would make history right off the bat.
Every Republican would be jumping for joy. We'd killed somebody.
Finally.
We have proof.
They did it.
It is dangerous.
Ridiculous. With some of these concentrates though, that they're getting close to destroying
Yeah, right.
your day.
Like putting you in some type of permanent coma.
I did have you guys ever tried a dab?
Yeah.
Do that stuff. Like, I mean, I can vaporize and stuff, and I'm not trying to say that I can outsmoke anybody, because there's many that would destroy me for sure.
I'd give you a run.
There's a lot. Yeah, I could go, but I mean, when you start whipping out that dab rig, that changes my life.
Oh man, yeah, that stuff is nuts.
I mean, walking around for 6 hours downtown, I was like, I have no fucking idea where I'm going, but I'm going somewhere.
But
going somewhere and feeling good.
Everything is
feeling good.
okay.
But exactly, I think I got a nice meal in there somewhere. I don't know. Well, 420 is a big day in Toronto. There's a big bash in the day where everybody meets up downtown. Yeah, it's a cool. The culture here is really cool. It's a lot of fun, and it's a cool crowd. It's a really chill crowd. Literally a chill crowd. We get that part. It's a good time.
I mean, technically, Baddits, I think at this point we can call ourselves journalists, so I think this would be for investigative purposes. Research.
Yeah, it's definitely research.
Yeah.
We can write it off.
You know, you have to. And in research, you have to try all of it, and you have to consume and indulge in the culture.
It's true.
Right. We have to, be 100% all in, or it's not going to be, true.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to have that authentic feel to it. You got to be there. You got to live it.
We're burning our license, our enhanced license. Oh, sorry, we can't get back into the States. Sorry, we're trapped here.
That's okay. It's stuck in Toronto.
I think my favorite thing I saw was when I think they posted something on like the site for trying to get into Canada as a citizen, that when Trump won the election, you could not try to apply for a refugee status.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Because I was like, I'm totally going to try to apply as a refugee, and it was actually on there that you cannot still fill out a refugee application if you're from the United States because Trump is president.
Wow.
But
not yet.
Not yet. Give it a year.
Yeah, good time. In time.
Well, here's a question. What is your guys' perspective of what's going on in like
America,
our grand old land?
I have no idea what's going on and where it can go. There's a lot of madness with a lot of people and what they say, and from the way I see it, I mean, there's for sure, you can always point out the negative, but there's for sure some stuff in there that's positive. One person can't be 100% wrong about everything, and if you look at the history, well, maybe they can be, I don't know.
He's coming close. I miss George W. Bush.
Yeah, but he was just chill. That's why. He was just cool. Him and Clinton were just chill, having a good time, doing their job, and everybody loved it, right?
Was it
I think,
the second
for me,
Harold and
like,
Kumar?
Yeah, so, yeah, you know, he smokes his weed and he puts the coke in it to keep you going. You know, I've probably seen that like 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it is, right? I think that the world does need to fucking relax. Like, everyone needs to just chill out. And I mean, from what I see, it seems like it's just a lot of unnecessary things. And I mean, the world's already been crazy enough. Like, let's just all just chill out. And I think that goes for everybody. If everybody just chilled out, I know there's money and power involved, and the whole world is never going to settle because of that. But if we could find a way where, you know, at least we can do what we want on our side, and people do what they want on their side, and just don't get involved in other people's personal values and whatnot, and just let people be themselves. And it's either they live on this piece of this land of the world or the other. In reality, it's one world land that's, you know, I don't know, 100,000 miles this way, 100,000 miles that way. It's still the same fucking planet.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
right, people just need to chill. I mean, imagine everyone just minded their business in their own sense and didn't judge anybody, or, you know, they didn't really care too much what other people were doing. I mean, it'd probably be pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, it'd probably be a perfect world, almost like a paradise or something, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe. At least it would be-
utopists.
Yeah, you know, it'd be somewhere. So it'd be maybe a better place. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Got him.
But yeah, the whole political thing, I don't get too. I mean, even though I'm in the whole the cannabis world, and it is political, I try to stay away from all the other stuff because I'm not the guy with the valid opinion on all that, anyways.
Yeah.
I'm pro weed. You know.
Well, I've come when it comes to politics, nobody has, you know, the right opinion. I mean,
Yeah, I guess so.
You
It's
can't
one
order
way or the
a
other.
single pizza for an entire
Well,
country.
you know-
Nobody's going to agree on what to put on it.
I think
That's right.
And I think Jesse Ventura said it best, you know, politics is like pro wrestling. Everybody's friends behind the curtains, you know. The Republicans and Democrats
Yeah.
hate each other, but at the end of the day, they're all on the same side.
They all go to dinner, go to the bar
Yeah.
together afterward.
It's ridiculous, right?
You know, then they'll slander each other's name in front of their
And
constituents.
then they'll be like, "Oh, I owe you a shot for that one."
And they put it over. They're running the spots.
It's crazy to think about it like that, but it's pretty accurate.
Imagine they have like 2 days before, they're just sitting down. Oh, we're gonna tear it up.
Yo, this health bill is going to crush you.
All right, you.
Oh man, the articles are gonna be insane.
When,
A lot of press.
when you go out there and bring up this part, I'm gonna come at him with this part, and the crowd is gonna go nuts.
Oh man, you know what? It's so ridiculous. It's probably happening.
I'm going to call you a communist, Bernie. And they're going to cheer.
Oh, they're gonna hate that, man.
You got Vince McMahon sitting back there, for some reason a headset, watching it on a monitor, yelling some lines to somebody with the headset.
It's crazy.
Well, hey,
Ridiculous.
Oprah's running in 2020. Maybe the Gimmick Table throws their name in the hat, you know?
Nope.
Chris, we're going to need an ambassador to Canada. Yeah, you have ambassadors to countries, right? Yeah.
We're not running for anything.
2020 Gimmick Table for president.
The gimmick table, both of us, and Kate.
Just set it up.
But I did love the Oprah thing, running for president, because that's all we were talking about at work. Is like, what is she going to do? You get a drone. You get a drone. You get a drone.
She'll be hooking everybody up with everything. Everybody's gonna be loaded. She's gonna be rich. She's gonna...
Like, yeah, Trump thinks he has a lot of money. Like, she'd come into the country and be like, well, I'm just going to pay off the national debt.
Just like,
Just like that.
Like, okay.
because my money's actually in the bank, Donald, unlike yours.
She's like,
That's right.
I have $30 trillion in cash on me right now, so what's
What's the big deal? Let's just pay this off and move on.
I think I'm voting for Oprah. I think
She'd probably win.
I don't know, but then again, do we want another celebrity to, like, back-to-back celebrity
why
presidents?
I think the Gimmick Table would be great because we're unknown celebrities. They don't know about our stardom yet.
We would be famous by the time we got elected.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, that's the only way to get elected.
Let's do it. Everybody listen. Vote for us in 2020.
All right, yeah, we're officially announcing it, like,
See, you made history. You made history twice today. Our first cannabis athlete, and here as we announced our president, our
but
nomination for
disregard
presidency.
disregard all the episode up to this point and all episodes before this, because, you know, they will incriminate us in some form or another.
Oh yeah.
You know what? You'd be the first president that's honest.
Yeah, that's what we're going for, true transparency.
I'm pretty honest about everything, man.
That's true. All right, Kris, we really... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't know. I was going to say something along the lines of everyone just needs to start, being honest.
Truthfully, like,
honest.
that's it. Like, being upfront about stuff is better than being shady.
Yeah, right. I mean, the worst thing to do is being busted for something that, you lied about. That's the worst. At least if you own up to it. And people are just like, yeah, you did that? Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, hell, back in, like the Wild West or whatever, you accuse someone of stealing, but, like, then they found out, like, you were lying about it, you got put to death.
Yeah.
They're like, you don't lie about shit, man. This is your word means something.
Well, yeah, it should, right? Because that's all we really have at the end of the day is our word.
Well, nowadays we have cameras and shit, so, I mean, if you can lie and get away with it, well, you don't have proof.
You know what? You're right. This is very true.
Well, I mean, but if you go back, if you like, I know throughout time, I mean, obviously, like, liars have existed, but you go back to even, like, the 1920s, especially in America, like, a person's name had value. People wanted to be honest, they wanted their name and their reputation to be something that was good. Today, people don't give two fucks about their reputation. And and I agree, you shouldn't care what people think, but you should also carry yourself in a way that, you're not an asshole.
Yeah, you want to respect other individuals that share the planet with you.
Right. And lying just it's never, like, I remember, like, lying to my parents, and you never felt good about it, because you knew eventually it's going to blow up in your face. And it's worse because, one, you did something wrong, and then you fucking lied about it, and half the time they're more pissed about the lie than the fact that you did something wrong in the first place, because everybody makes fucking mistakes.
100% they do, right? And a normal human being will understand that too, right?
Right.
I mean, I have a good story about that. When I was in 3rd grade, I didn't do my homework a lot for my math class. So, one day, I was, like, gonna get in trouble because I didn't have my homework done. So I took some kid's math homework and erased their name off it and put mine on it. Now, the best part about this story is my teacher's like, hey, I know you erased his name off this and put yours on. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, I can still read his name underneath yours. So unless you wrote his first and then wrote yours, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe he tried to erase mine and put it on there and then felt bad, so he rewrote mine on there. But there you go, because you can't. The only way to tell a lie is to keep covering it up with more lies, and you just look stupid at the end.
Yeah, but I once did that in history class in grade 10. We had to do an assignment. We had to pick a decade that we wanted to write something historical that happened. And I got the 80s, and I wanted the 90s because I thought about the Bret Hart screw job. And because my buddy, that it probably was a week prior to that, sent me 5 pages of someone wrote up this whole essay on the whole screw job. So I was like, fuck it. This teacher doesn't know anything about wrestling. I'm going to try. So I went into this email. It was 5 pages. Awesome essay. And I just changed Survivor Series 97 to Survivor Series 1987. And I switched all that. I left everything. I just switched the dates. I handed it in. I got 99%. It took me to that credit. That credit was no problem. I didn't have to show up for the exam or anything. But the teacher, she called me out nicely. And it's only till I'm older that I realized she knew I was lying. She held it up in front of the whole class, and she was just praising me. She was like, I know Kris wrote this. I read it, and I can really tell he wrote it himself. And I'm going to put it on the wall and all that stuff. Right? She did, and she's like, I really believe it. She didn't know that I was a savage. I didn't give a shit. At that time. And I didn't care at all. I was like, fuck it. I'm not writing this 5-page essay if I could. I go, there's one thing. You can make me feel bad about it all you want. And now, we both know I'm lying, but I still got 99%. So I walked in with that one, but I never felt fully good about it because she was good to me. Now that I'm older, but at that time I didn't give a shit. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, but that's what when you're young, you do stuff like that. That's when you're supposed to learn. I mean, it's when you're in your 40s and you're running companies and you're stealing people's pensions, then the lies get a little extreme.
Those 4 years of high school, they just don't count towards your life. You just have to look at it.
Unless you murder somebody, I think that counts. I think there's a couple things.
I guess there's some things that get carved out of that.
Really carved out of that? Jeez, man. I think everybody should listen to this. Everybody that listens to this episode should leave being a little more enlightened.
If anything.
I think we've solved half the world's problems just with this episode.
I mean, you know, diplomats for ages will be talking about this episode, and they'll be using it in their like textbooks and in college courses as how to. Yeah, I can't even keep going.
That would be a phenomenal thing.
But we definitely had a lot of fun here today. Thank you so much, and definitely keep us in the loop with everything that Superkick'd is doing, and you yourself as well, and we'll make sure that we help promote that as much as we can.
Awesome. We love it. Thank you, guys. I had a great time, too.
Yes, and
it was awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again down the road.
Yeah, you know where I'm at.
All
Stay in
right.
touch, and I'll see us again. It was
So-
a good combo.
Thank you once again to Kris Chambers, the half-baked kid, for joining us today on the Gimmick Table. What a great interview. I think that's going to spark a lot of people's interest, Bats, in just, being a better person and, putting their drive into everything.
Yeah, or just spark them to spark.
If they are of legal ages, and a lot of things, happened on this episode. We have announced we will be running for the presidency. It's going to be a co-presidency. Cade's going to be our vice president. We got that all figured out. A couple other of our buddies help out on the show. We're going to get them involved. Bunch of good guys, a group of good guys, I should say. So make sure that, you look out for the ad campaigns coming soon to Twitter and
donate
Facebook.
to it.
Yeah, make sure you join our Patreon and donate so we can get that going. We need a lot of money to get on those debates.
If you want to see our names on the ballot.
Right. I think you really want to see us debate Donald Trump because it's going to be pure pandemonium. It's going to be fun. And Hillary, too. Bring the whole party. We'll have fun. We're going to run on a brand, the Gimmick Party. It's the Gimmick Party. We're starting a whole new political party.
Putting everyone through a table.
We're putting everybody through a table. We're going to put America through a table.
That's our motto. Right? Put America through a table.
That's what we're going to do, and America's going to rise like the phoenix, and we're going to become the greatest country ever. And professional wrestling is going to become our new pastime. I think everybody will be down with that.
Yep.
All right, and you can hear this interview and all our other interviews on all major platforms, including iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And make sure, now that we're running for the President of the United States in 2020, you get a hold of us on Twitter. Follow us at @gimmick_table. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. And all you got to do is search Gimmick Table Wrestling Podcast 2020 Presidential Run. And don't forget to check out our website, gimmicktablepod.com, for all our interviews. Once again, don't forget the cover art done by this wonderful man, Bats. Got bonus content there as well, merchandise and more. And no episode of the Gimmick Table would be complete without a shameless plug for all our buddies out there. We got the WNA podcast, Retch Wrestling, Smart Spot, Raw is Bore, and the Broadcast podcast, and that is with a K because there is no C in the Australian alphabet. And they cover everything, guys, from pro wrestling and more, available on all major platforms, including iTunes or wherever you get your podcasting fix from. They're on Twitter and Facebook as well. Just search their names. And Bats, that does it for us today. But tell me though, does man, that marvel of the universe, that glorious paradox, send me to the stars, still make war against his brother, keep his neighbors' children starving?
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
You went to the end of the movie there. I'm at the beginning, dude. You can't skip over like 30 scenes.
Well, I did.
Whatever, man. That's it for us today here at the Gimmick Table. Thank you once again for listening. We hope you have a good week.
See ya.